Chapter 1864. Different paths. Suddenly, some people appeared, illusions floating in the sky. Minister Uptala and the others raised their heads. Minister Uptala, Minister Kalasutra, one of them called out, smiling indifferently, people from Great Imperial Song City are here already. Should we determine some rules? Since the ministers are here, what rules do you suggest? Asked Minister Kalasutra. First, Hell Great Emperors can't attack Hell Emperors. It shouldn't be an issue, I guess, proposed one of them. Minister Kalasutra and Minister Uptala nodded agreement. Of course there was no problem. Even though battles were powerful and cruel, it was also a good way for armies to practice. Some people were going to get killed, some others were going to become even stronger. Therefore there were rules. Hell Great Emperors couldn't attack Hell Emperors, otherwise, nobody would benefit from the battle as low-level people wouldn't have the opportunity to practice. Of course, they were going to kill one another. Many people would die. Of course, no problem. What else? Asked Minister Kalasutra. We can set up different fighting areas, suggested one of the illusions. The strong cultivators of Great Imperial Song City understood that the four other groups had already agreed on rules. Wang Zhen asked, how to divide them up? 3 areas, one for low-level Hell Emperors, one for medium-level Hell Emperors, one for high-level Hell Emperors. We are 5 groups, we will see who can take over this place, those who can't will be eliminated directly. And then we can take the Hell Great Emperors of the remaining groups and compare them. What do you think? First, Hell Emperors would battle, and among the 5 groups, at least 2 had to be eliminated. How is a group to be considered as a loser when their people are all dead? What is the time limit as well? And also, can we use weapons? Asked Wang Zhen. We have to seal the 5 entrances. We can't use weapons. 3 months. The remaining people are the winners. If a group doesn't agree, battles to death will make them come to an agreement. I'm sure weak people will quickly give up. Of course, there's something else, great emperors can watch, but they can't get involved, no exception. And weapons are forbidden. If anyone violates this rule, everybody must help to kill them, said a 4th person. Nobody wanted to risk their life for nothing. There had to be rules for great emperors. They could monitor, but they couldn't get involved. Minister Uptala and Minister Kalasutra glanced at one another and then looked at Wang Zhen. Wang Zhen, what do you think? Asked Minister Kalasutra. Wang Zhen was the protagonist. They had to listen to him. No problem, agreed Wang Zhen. The other 5 people nodded and said, all right, we can start sealing the place. The areas are already divided, said one of them. He released a thread of godly awareness which moved towards Wang Zhen's third eye. A gigantic map appeared in Wang Zhen's brain. That's the map of this place. We divided it into 3 areas. Can you see everything? Said that person. Great Imperial Song City, you can send 5 people or more to the exits. All right, nodded Wang Zhen. The 4 other people rose up into the air. The 5 groups were going to compete to become the leaders of the territory. Wang Zhen released his godly awareness and transmitted pieces of information to Minister Uptala and Minister Kalasutra. He said, Ministers, let's divide our forces. Bring some people with you to the different areas. The area of the high-level Hell Emperors is in the middle. Farther away is the area for the medium-level Hell Emperors, and the border area with Great Imperial Song City is for the low-level Emperors. The battlefield for medium-level Hell Emperors is near Chujiang City. People from Chujiang City found the place first. They don't have many people, but they are all heroes, explained Minister Kalasutra. Indeed, we can't fight against people from Chujiang City, agreed Minister Uptala. Chujiang City's people had the advantage. How could we give up? Since you thought about it, why didn't you mention it before? Asked Wang Zhen. He was speechless and sounded unhappy. We were the last ones to arrive. That's not good. Those 4 people had already agreed on the rules. We couldn't change anything about them, Minister Kalasutra said coldly. Wang Zhen was surprised and looked unhappy. You're right. We hadn't thought about everything. However, which battle can we win, and can we bring in more troops? We don't have any more time. They're already ready. They will probably find our exit and seal it. If we force the way in, then we'll be violating the rules, but since Qing Qing and Qin Yao are here, our low-level emperors should have the advantage," said Minister Kalasutra. "Unfortunately, Lin Feng has already become a medium-level Hell Emperor, otherwise, our low-level emperors would have won." Lin Feng's fighting abilities were incredible. However, he had already become a medium-level Hell Emperor. "Lin Feng, your ability to hide your cultivation level is incredible. If you pretend you're a low-level Hell Emperor, nobody will know," Wang Zhuo proposed. Lin Feng shook his head and said, "I'm going to the medium-level Hell Emperor's battlefield." "Let's divide as agreed now, then," said Wang Zhen. He didn't want to waste time arguing. "I will lead the high-level Hell Emperors. Wang Zhuo, you lead the medium-level Hell Emperors. Qing Qing and Qin Yao, you lead the low-level Hell Emperors," Minister Kalasutra proposed, and everyone nodded. The three groups then divided. Minister Uptala took people to the medium-level Hell Emperor's battlefield. Minister Kalasutra took people to the high-level Hell Emperor's battlefield. Wang Zhen took people to the low-level Emperor's battlefield. This small world was really well made, much better than Ba Huang and Jiuyu. The people in this place were extremely strong, and the area was gigantic. Minister Uptala was a hell-great emperor. He was extremely fast, but still, it took him a full day to take the group of medium-level Hell Emperors to their battlefield. "Minister Uptala, we are already at the heart of the battlefield. Leave it to me now. Go and take some people to the exits," said Wang Zhuo to Minister Uptala. "All right, Wang Zhuo, if you can't grasp how strong the enemy really is, then don't disperse. If you can't win this battle, then give up and leave. And help me take care of Lin Feng," said Minister Uptala. "I understand," Wang Zhuo nodded. "Lin Feng is an amazing fighter. He's very smart. I will try to prevent him from fighting too much. Don't worry, Minister." "All right," Minister Uptala said, before taking some people away. Wang Zhuo and the others landed on the ground. "Shouldn't we take off our armor?" Lin Feng asked Wang Zhuo. Wang Zhuo smiled and asked, "Why?" "It's obvious. We don't know who the enemy is yet. We might not even recognize them when they're next to us," said Lin Feng. "Next to us? I won't let them pose a threat to us," Wang Zhuo smiled. There was a palace in the distance. Wang Zhuo looked at it coldly and said, "Kill all the people inside and let's use it as our base." Lin Feng was surprised and said to Wang Zhuo, "What's that supposed to mean?" "I don't want the enemy to pose a threat to us. Those people could have all of us in their field of vision and kill us," said Wang Zhuo coldly. "Kill them." "Yes, sir." Silhouettes flickered away. They all went to the palace and killed everyone inside. Lin Feng was astonished. Even though the world of cultivation was cruel indeed, why kill innocent people? Wang Zhuo was really cruel. He could kill so many people with a big smile on his face. Lin Feng was shocked inside. "Lin Feng, you think I'm wrong?" asked Wang Zhuo when he saw Lin Feng's strange expression. Lin Feng remained silent. Wang Zhuo said, "You are very talented, but you're a bit too nice and gentle. The cultivation world is cruel. The lives of people from small worlds don't matter. Killing them doesn't matter. There is no point in people taking counsel together who follow different ways," said Lin Feng coldly after remaining silent for a few seconds. Then he turned around, his silhouette flickered and he drew back. Wang Zhuo was stupefied and stared after Lin Feng. "What's that supposed to mean?" "I'll stay on the battlefield, but I'll fight alone," said Lin Feng indifferently. Wang Zhuo groaned coldly and said, "I promised the minister I'd protect you. If you leave, don't blame me." "Even if I die it has nothing to do with you," replied Lin Feng coldly, before heading away. Wang Zhuo was furious. Chapter 1865. Death. Lin Feng's silhouette flickered. He gazed into the distance, noting how big the area was. Apart from that palace, there were man villages. Considering the way the palace had been built, it meant it was very important for its people. Wang Zhuo had destroyed it. That was sad, very sad. And many locals would suffer from the war. Lin Feng heard an animal cry in distress. He landed on the ground and looked at a small, simple house in the distance. There was a small yellow dog, the most ordinary kind of animal in the world. When it saw Lin Feng, it was scared. "Who's here?" asked someone. Lin Feng saw a 50-year-old man come out of the room. He smiled at Lin Feng and said, "Little Huang likes to bark when he sees strangers." "Sorry." You must be from far away. Come in. I'll sit at the entrance, said Lin Feng, pointing at a chair before the entrance door, and smiled. He sat down and said, Uncle, there's a palace not far from here. What is that palace? Not far? It's hundreds of kilometers away, said the man, coming out of the small house again with another chair which he put next to Lin Feng. We're from the countryside. We're quite weak, unlike people from cities. People like me live 100 years. Most of us are cultivators of the Hell Ling Qi layer. Most of us can never break through to the Hell Shen Qi layer. You still look healthy and strong. Lin Feng complimented him. The Hell Ling Qi layer and Hell Shen Qi layer were of course the Ling Qi layer and the Shen Qi layer. That man was quite weak, especially for a middle-aged man. Without resources from the outside world, it was impossible for them to break through. You're young, you're trying to cheer me up, that's nice. I'm not afraid of death. I just hope my son will have a better life, especially now that he joined the sect of darkness. Oh yes, by the way, the palace you mentioned is the sect of darkness. They are very strong. They have cultivators of the Hell Zun Qi layer. They are as strong as people in the big cities. My boy is only 20. He's already a cultivator of the Hell Shen Qi layer. Soon he will break through to the Hell Zun Qi layer. The man smiled. His wrinkles kept moving when he smiled. Lin Feng felt extremely sad when he heard the man. You must be quite strong, young man. You must be at least as strong as my boy, said the man happily. Lin Feng looked grave and solemn, and he asked, Uncle, do you have other children? I have a daughter too, she's behind you, said the man while petting his dog. Then, the small dog turned and ran towards the 18-year-old girl behind Lin Feng. She wore her hair in braids and looked pure and innocent. She had a resplendent smile on her face. Your daughter is very beautiful, said Lin Feng to the man. She blushed. She's not as talented as her brother, though I'm looking for someone who would want to marry her, said the man, smiling in a calm, serene, and simple manner. Maybe her talent hasn't awoken yet, smiled Lin Feng. He looked at the small lane next to the house. People were walking on the cobbled lanes of the village. Sometimes people passed next to them and asked the man, Is that your son? No, he's passing through. My son is in the sect of darkness, said the smiling man. When he said that, people looked at him in admiration. To them, the sect of darkness was an incredible place. Lin Feng spent some time in the village, and one day, the man noticed that a beautiful woman had appeared next to Lin Feng. She was incredibly beautiful. He smiled at Lin Feng and said, You must be the young master of some prestigious clan. Lin Feng felt so sad. They had heard nothing from the palace in days. Lin Feng didn't know what to do. The evening sun was shining upon the village. Lu Fei leaned against Lin Feng and smiled. If we could stay this way forever, it would be so nice. Lin Feng stretched out his hand and caressed her face. After Lu Songlan's death, she had stopped caring about cultivation. She dreamt of a peaceful and ordinary life. Fei Fei, how long have you known Lin Feng? Asked a young girl with a ponytail. She was extremely cute and noticed that Lin Feng and Lu Fei looked really in love. Many, many years, Lu Fei told her. How many years? Over 15 years, I guess. Fei Fei, you're lying. You didn't get to know Lin Feng when you were a baby, said the young girl, her eyes twinkling. Lu Fei seemed to be in her early 20s. She was extremely beautiful. How do you know Fei Fei is older than you? Asked the man, coming out of a house and smiling. He pet the girl's head and pinched her cheeks. At that moment, the man turned and looked at some people on the road. An ordinary young man was coming. The man frowned but said nothing. He had a bad premonition. After Lin Feng had appeared, more and more strangers had appeared in the village. Did they know Lin Feng? However, he had no doubts concerning Lin Feng. Lin Feng always smiled easily and looked honest and sincere. Lin Feng looked at those two people. They looked ordinary, but their cultivation level was incredible, medium-level emperors. People from the other groups have arrived. I wonder where they're from, wondered Lin Feng. He realized that more and more people had appeared in the village. They might be from Great Imperial Song City, or not. Uncle, the hotel there is already full, said the two young men to the man politely. If you need space, I have 2 small rooms here, offered the man. Great. We'll stay here for a few evenings then, said the two people, and then the man took them inside. The young girl looked at them and then back at Lin Feng and Lu Fei and smiled. Are they passing through like you? But I prefer you anyway. Little girl. Lin Feng patted the girl's head and said, You have to be polite to guests. The girl didn't know, but Lin Feng knew how strong those people were. If they didn't offend them, nothing would happen to them. After all, their targets were people from Great Imperial Song City. As expected, the two next days were calmer. And living with the man wasn't bad. He was funny, they liked to chat and laugh. His daughter also made soup for them. Lin Feng took his bowl, soup appeared in the air, and Lin Feng drank it in one sip. And then he laughed. He said, Fei Fei. Lu Fei stared at Lin Feng with her beautiful eyes. She looked surprised. Lin Feng took her bowl of soup and said, I want to drink more soup. Drink it, smiled Lu Fei. Lin Feng took her bowl and finished the soup. The girl looked at Lin Feng in a cute way. Her uncle came out of the house and suddenly shouted, Don't drink it. You want to die, said someone, groaning icily. The young girl suddenly turned around, her expression changing drastically. Lin Feng was startled and his face turned pale. He saw a gigantic hand move towards the man containing death chi. Life, shouted Lin Feng extremely loudly, releasing life strength which started flowing throughout the elder's body as he fell. He recovered a little. Father, the young girl started crying. Then, a gigantic destructive hand descended towards the young girl. She couldn't escape. Don't, shouted Lin Feng furiously. He wanted to block the attack, but he had no time. He had just released life energy to help her father. The hand crashed onto the young girl's body and her body exploded into millions of pieces. A life was so easy to take. Lin Feng saw many hands filed with death energies. People started dying one after another before him. Lin Feng rarely felt so sad when he saw people die. A mysterious chi rose up in the air and surrounded Lu Fei, and she disappeared. Lin Feng went next to the older man and released more life energy to heal him. His heart was filled with pain. The man was shaking violently. He opened his eyes and looked at Lin Feng. He tried to smile but he had tears in his eyes. They can't die to that kind of poison, said the man to Lin Feng. Lin Feng, I shouldn't have given you any of it. Tell me, you didn't help them to kill my son, right? I didn't, said Lin Feng shaking his head. He felt devastated. The man smiled while crying and said, I think you're a good boy. Can you help me avenge my son's death? Lin Feng remained silent. The man was still smiling and crying. He was about to die, but his eyes remained open. Chapter 1866. Fury. The man wanted to die. He had lost his will to live. He knew that his son had been killed. He had also realized that there were more and more strangers in all the surrounding villages. He also realized that more and more people were dying. He wanted to poison them. He had even tried to poison Lin Feng. Unfortunately, he had failed. His poison was useless against such powerful cultivators. Then they had killed his daughter. His life had become meaningless. Lin Feng was transmitting some life energy to him, but still he had his eyes closed. He wanted to die. Lin Feng didn't blame him. He was a very ordinary man. His children had died. Life had become pointless. Kill everyone in the villages, ordered the young man who had killed the man's daughter icily. Lin Feng was furious. Do you hold a grudge against the villagers? Asked Lin Feng icily. They are just annoying and keep getting in our way. You will die too though. A gigantic black hand moved towards Lin Feng, containing powerful death energies. He was a medium-level Hell Emperor. Lin Feng had guessed right. Those people were here to kill people from Great Imperial Song City. Now, there were invaders everywhere and they all wanted to kill people from Great Imperial Song City. The 4 other groups were also hiding in the villages. Initially, they were calm and composed, but now they started killing the villagers too. The gigantic hand exploded. The young man was stupefied and stared at Lin Feng. Are you a local, or are you on Great Emperor Song's side? I'm the one who's going to kill you, said Lin Feng icily. Then he flashed forwards, releasing death chi to surround his enemy. You can't kill me, sneered the young man when he sensed Lin Feng's death strength. He smiled coldly, punching out in Lin Feng's direction. It was a gigantic black hand, and it made the air tremble. People who came from the outside to the small world were all from incredible armies. This battlefield was the medium-level Hell Emperor's battlefield. They were all extremely strong. When Lin Feng was standing on the low-level Hell Emperor's battle stage in the city, that was already impressive, but now things were different. Lin Feng had seen many things in life, he had battled a lot. But in the end, he was still a human being. Some world strength emerged. It was very strange. His spirit started shaking. A page appeared. Slash, slash, sword energies whistled. A 9 Kulpa sword's attack filled the air. His enemy was stupefied. It was as if he had appeared in another world. The beautiful woman was here, Lin Feng was here. Die! Shouted the young man suddenly at Lu Fei. However, Lu Fei remained motionless and the young man was surprised. What was going on? His death energy couldn't rotate. A strong wind started blowing. That cultivator was stupefied. He waved his hand and a hell hand appeared and streaked across the sky. He tried to release cosmic energies, but it didn't work. He couldn't use his cosmic energies properly in here. He could only use his body's cosmic energies. It was his first time in Lin Feng's world. But while Lin Feng was used to using cosmic energies in the outside world, the young man was not familiar with using cosmic energies in such circumstances. Lin Feng continued filling the air with his attacks. He was getting closer and closer to his opponent. A cage appeared around the cultivator. Lin Feng looked at him icily. Die! Shouted Lin Feng furiously. His Devamara Kulpa's strength blanketed everything. His opponent's expression changed drastically. Energy attacked the cage. At that moment, a sharp dazzling sword light beam appeared, blood splashed. The opponent was stunned as another silhouette emerged and assaulted him. A destructive strength exploded in his body, and he turned to ashes. After killing him, Lin Feng took Fei Fei back to Shuiyu in his soul. The small world was his hunting area. Lin Feng left his world and suddenly reappeared in the village. Horrible shrieks kept spreading in the air. Lin Feng looked furious. He moved as fast as lightning, his dazzling Tianji sword appearing above his head. It looked alive and kept whistling furiously. It could sense that Lin Feng was furious. Someone saw Lin Feng and looked at him icily. A hand moved towards Lin Feng at full speed. Lin Feng shouted furiously, "Piss off!" The Tianji sword whistled furiously. It pierced through the hand attack. Lightning, fire, and other energies exploded. Humph! That cultivator groaned icily, retreating with his hands in front of him. A golden circle appeared. The Tianji sword pierced through it as if it were made of mud. Lin Feng jumped and waved his hand. The cage reappeared. He appeared not far from the cage. A mysterious world strength emerged and surrounded the cage, and suddenly his opponent disappeared. The Tianji sword cut the air with a whistle of speed, moving in another direction. Lin Feng ignored the man he had sent to his small world. His silhouette flickered and he followed his Tianji sword. After a short time, he appeared in front of another strong cultivator. "Who are you?" shouted that person icily. Lin Feng said nothing at all. He released empty space and wind energies which surrounded him, and at the same time his silver wings appeared on his back, flashing towards the cage. He could make his opponent disappear very quickly. Very quickly, people noticed Lin Feng in the villages, as he was up in the sky with his silver wings and Tianji sword. People rose up into the air one after another. However, very quickly, they seemed to shake, and suddenly only a few people were left. "Where are the others?" thought the astonished crowd. They couldn't see the others. Lin Feng flapped his wings, and his Tianji sword whistled. He glanced around and saw corpses everywhere in the small villages. So many people had died. For these medium-level Hell Emperors, those people's lives didn't matter. "Who are you?" asked the emperors, staring at Lin Feng. So many people had disappeared, it probably had something to do with Lin Feng dash. "The one who will destroy you." Lin Feng's Tianji sword lunged at that person as he sensed a powerful energy. Lin Feng punched out in his direction, a cage appeared around him, and then he disappeared. The crowd was astonished. They could sense that Lin Feng wasn't that strong. He couldn't kill them easily, but he could easily make them disappear. Where did he send those people? Even with a powerful treasure, it was impossible to do that. All they sensed was a little bit of qi. Chapter 1867. Acknowledged by the gods, Lin Feng took everyone into his own world, and then he also went inside using his world strength. Explosions rang out. The strong cultivators kept attacking everywhere. Lin Feng's spirit was shaking violently. However, he had the same strength as them. He was a medium-level emperor. And the world of his spirit was strange and mysterious. It was very difficult to break. Even though those people had weapons and incredible spells, they still couldn't do much. Lin Feng entered the world and he glanced around at the crowd with his eyes filled with death energies. "Where are we?" one of them demanded of Lin Feng. He couldn't use cosmic energies properly here. He could only use the cosmic energies of his own body. "Your burial plots," said Lin Feng icily. Then a great imperial weapon appeared, a sun disk which was dazzling and contained immortal energies. Those people could barely open their eyes because the sun disk was so dazzling. "You are a descendant of Great Emperor Song? You are not allowed to use great imperial weapons when competing for held territories. You are violating the rules," said one of them icily. Lin Feng surprisingly used a great imperial weapon. He was probably a descendant of Great Emperor Song. A dazzling light filled with immortal energies streaked across the sky and pierced through the one who had just talked. His body exploded and his soul dispersed. The crowd was stunned and furious. They could see that Lin Feng was a medium-level Hell Emperor and he was using a great imperial weapon. For them, it was a synonym for destruction. "You used a precious item to take us in here, and now we can't use our cosmic energies. I'm going to inform the others that people from Great Imperial Song City have already violated the rules." "Inform? You cannot communicate with the outside world in here," laughed Lin Feng icily. He had already tried with Xiaoya. Apart from him, people couldn't communicate with the outside world, including when using their godly awareness. "Die!" Another sun appeared and crushed the one who had just talked. Other people's faces turned deathly pale. They had just killed the people from the villages. They had felt powerful when doing that. Now they didn't dare act recklessly anymore. Lin Feng released fire strength, which started flowing through the sun disk. Lin Feng was standing on the dazzling sun. Back then, when Yang Yan was a cultivator of the very top of the Zunqi layer, he could use the sun disk to kill medium-level emperors. Lin Feng was a now medium-level emperor, much stronger. Everybody squinted, unable to see much. Suns started raining down, emperors kept falling down from the sky, one after another. Lin Feng was destroying them all. Some people's rings even exploded immediately and their treasures fell down from the sky with them. Finally, Lin Feng was alone. He put his sun disk away. He didn't feel sad at all. He went back to the outside world and saw millions of corpses. He could hear some people crying too. Villagers were innocent people. Villages were lively, filled with life. Now nothing was left. The strong cultivators had killed so many of them. Lin Feng could remember the old man and his daughter dying. It was a tragedy. At that moment, in the distance, black clouds were expanding in dark waves in the sky. Lin Feng raised his head and looked at them. "Who is attacking?" murmured Lin Feng. The different groups wanted to join hands to fight against Great Emperor Song's people. However, Lin Feng didn't care. He turned around and flew back to the old man's house. He used the remains of the house to make a grave, and placed the man's corpse inside, then used earth strength to bury him. Lin Feng wanted the man to rest in peace. After that, Lin Feng left the village. All the rest had nothing to do with him. The rest of those days, Lin Feng stayed in desolate places, in the countryside, in mountains. He also walked in their cities. He met many ordinary people who had ordinary lives. They told Lin Feng about happy and sad moments of their lives, their friends, their enemies. However, Lin Feng found ordinary people touching. A month later, Lin Feng was still thinking about life. He went to the top of a mountain and glanced around. He smiled widely. He stretched his hand out and a bottle of alcohol appeared, and took a swig from it. It was very strong. It reminded him of good times with his friends. I worry about imaginary troubles. I'm a genius? I feel like a mediocre person, thought Lin Feng, smiling bitterly and throwing the bottle away. He wasn't an almighty god. He couldn't solve all the problems of the world. Even of his world, no matter how strong he was, he couldn't control everything. He had to let go of things sometimes. He also had to do things he enjoyed doing. He had to spend time with people he loved. He had killed all those people because he liked the man and his daughter. He was furious when those people had killed the villagers. Lin Feng took out his blue Uptila lotus. Life and death strength were flowing together in the lotus. Suddenly, the green life energy made the flower turn green. It was filled with life chi, then it was suddenly black and filled with death. The change was subtle. The energies kept changing quickly. The blue Uptila lotus slowly moved away from him. Lin Feng released even more life and death energies. The life and death energies became even denser. Life and death chi. There's no limit in this world, thought Lin Feng calmly. He condensed some death strength which turned into a strong death wind. A vortex appeared in his hand. Life, said Lin Feng. In a flash, the death strength turned into a green life energy which cleansed his body. The air suddenly changed as cosmic strength condensed. It looked like both life and death energy. Two sorts of cosmic energies, only one. Some people far away noticed the energies. A cosmic energy cleansing? They wondered. Was someone breaking through to the Huang Qi layer? But those cosmic energies seemed too strong for that. Lin Feng was surprised. He had been cleansed by Kalpa strength, and he understood life and death energies at a very high level. Something strange was happening. There's something wrong. That's not a cosmic energies cleansing, they are too powerful. Back then, when I broke through to the Huang Qi layer, the cosmic energies weren't that powerful, spoke up someone in the distance. Besides, there were both life and death cosmic energies inside. The source of all things. Initially, I was abandoned by the gods, and now they are acknowledging me. They found a compromise. Lin Feng smiled indifferently. After that, both cosmic energies surrounded him and cleansed his body. He had the strange sensation that he was controlling all cosmic energies. Life, death. In the distance, two gigantic words appeared. A gigantic black word, death, and a gigantic green word, life. Chapter 1868. The Path of Life and Death. Lin Feng sat down at the top of the mountain. Two sorts of cosmic energies surrounded his body. When Zun cultivators broke through to the Huang Qi layer, the cosmic energies of the earth and the sky cleansed their bodies. It was a means of communication created between cultivators and the earth and the sky. They could finally understand cosmic energies properly when they became emperors, and they could also condense them. Cultivators used the cosmic energies inside their body to attract the cosmic energies of the earth and the sky, to condense them and to attack. That way their attacks were explosive. The cosmic energies in their bodies had limits, however. The more they could use the cosmic energies of the earth and the sky, the more explosive their attacks were. Before, when Lin Feng fought in the outside world, he couldn't attract the cosmic energies of the earth and the sky. He could only rely on his own cosmic energies. Now, he could finally use the cosmic energies of the earth and the sky. He had been cleansed by the dual life and death cosmic energy. The gods now acknowledged him, and he was allowed to borrow their cosmic energies. Minister Uptila considers the blue Uptila lotus as a path, as a way of life. That's why he can use all sorts of cosmic energies. His body is made of almost all cosmic energies. He just has to study one sort of cosmic energy, that's enough. I was an imperial Kalpa, the gods had abandoned me. Now they have no choice but to acknowledge me. This time, I started walking on the path of life and death, whispered Lin Feng to himself. Lin Feng had heard that, he had never really understood how or why though. Then Minister Uptila had told him about the blue Uptila lotus, and Lin Feng had suddenly understood. Life and death energies were mysterious and incredible. Lin Feng was surrounded by mountains. Some people appeared in the distance and studied him. That guy's comprehensive abilities are really incredible. He was surprisingly cleansed by two sorts of cosmic energies. And they are much more powerful than when ordinary people get cleansed by cosmic energies, thought the people staring at Lin Feng. They would have never thought someone would be getting cleansed by cosmic energies in such a desolate place. After a long time, the wind of empty space cosmic energies dispersed. Lin Feng raised his head and smiled. Congratulations for breaking through to the Huang-Chi layer with dual cosmic energies, Your Excellency, said someone at that moment. A few people landed in front of Lin Feng and smiled at him. At that moment, Lin Feng seemed to have the cultivation level of a low-level emperor. Lin Feng's eyes glittered, rather confused. How come he only had the level of a low-level emperor after having been cleansed by the cosmic energies? I studied the indestructible Devamara scriptures. My skills are demon-type skills. However, I haven't been cleansed by demon cosmic energies yet. My demon cultivation hasn't been acknowledged by the gods yet, so that's maybe the reason why I seem to be a low-level emperor in the outside world, reasoned Lin Feng. After all, cultivators had to practice cultivation according to the type of skills they studied. They had to make their skills and cultivation advance homogeneously and consistently. The three live scriptures and the celestial evolution holy scriptures were mysterious and special scriptures. They helped a cultivator, but they didn't make him level up directly. If people wanted to make their skills level up, they had to make their cosmic energies level up. For example, his indestructible Devamara scriptures were mainly bound to his demon cosmic energies. The same applied to everything else. Heaven scriptures were bound to heaven cosmic energies. Sky-absorbing scriptures were associated with sky-absorbing cosmic energies. As a medium-level emperor, Lin Feng's best cosmic energies were his demon cosmic energies. He had the strength of a medium-level emperor when using them, but they hadn't been acknowledged by the gods yet. However, Lin Feng's life and death cosmic energies had been acknowledged by the gods, so he had broken through. Lin Feng glanced at the crowd. These people were medium-level emperors. Lin Feng guessed that they belonged to other powerful groups. I've just broken through to the Huang-Chi layer. You have all broken through to the Huang-Chi layer a long time ago. I have nothing to be proud of, said Lin Feng, smiling calmly. Your Excellency, you are in a small part of hell. It's a small world which has been built by strong cultivators, someone told him at that moment. I am aware, replied Lin Feng with a nod. Since you know, I can tell you something. I am from one of the 10 Yama courts, Chujiang City. King Chujiang is one of the 10 kings of the 10 Yama courts. We are members of Chujiang City's army. If you wish, you can join us temporarily. With your talent, you could rise up in the hierarchy. Offered that person peacefully. However, Lin Feng shook his head and smiled. I'm used to living alone in the wild. Hee, Your Excellency, maybe that you don't know that we're competing to gain control over this small world. Maybe this territory will end up under the control of Chujiang City soon. From that moment, we will rule over this territory. It's a great opportunity you have before you. You are very lucky, you shouldn't let it slip past you, the man smiled meaningfully. However, Lin Feng just smiled calmly. Thank you, Your Excellency, for your kindness. Then Lin Feng stopped talking to them. They were surprised. He had refused such a great opportunity? If they gained control over this territory, it would be theirs, and everything in it would be theirs, human and natural resources, especially talented people. They wouldn't be able to escape anymore. Hell has some rules, but people are much more straightforward than in the continent of the 9 clouds, thought Lin Feng. The ministers in hell wanted to keep everything under their control. Your Excellency, you should cherish this opportunity. Otherwise, you will regret it, said the man coldly. He already started threatening Lin Feng. I've never regretted anything, replied Lin Feng easily. His questioner was furious. You don't know how to differentiate good from bad. Even if you understand 2 sorts of cosmic energies, death and life, and even if you're talented, so what? You're just a weakling who has just broken through to the Huang-Chi layer. Maybe we could have done great things together someday, but surprisingly you don't want to. You want to die. He released death cosmic energies to surround Lin Feng. He wanted to kill Lin Feng as quickly as possible. Even if you understand death and life cosmic energies, You will still be killed by death cosmic energies, spat his would-be killer. Lin Feng was talented, but he was still weak. He had proposed to help Lin Feng and surprisingly he had refused. He had to die. If Lin Feng had been an ordinary cultivator who had just broken through to the Huangqi layer, he could have been killed by death cosmic energies. However, what he didn't know was that Lin Feng understood life and death cosmic energies much better than he did. Besides, from that moment on, Lin Feng's death and life cosmic energies were going to improve very quickly. Lin Feng had already started walking on the path of life and death. When the death cosmic energies of the other crashed into Lin Feng's body, nothing happened. Lin Feng looked like an immortal man. The man realized something was wrong. Lin Feng was just standing in his death cosmic energies and nothing had happened. Interesting, commented the man, smiling coldly. He then jumped towards Lin Feng and raised his hand. A hell hand filled with death energies raced towards him. Maybe this fool would die to this attack? Lin Feng flickered and disappeared. The hell hand crashed onto the mountaintop, which exploded. Wind cosmic energies? Lin Feng's opponent was stupefied. He grunted and released another gigantic hell hand which charged Lin Feng again. These people are medium-level hell emperors. Their skills and speed are incredible. They are strong medium-level hell emperors, thought Lin Feng. His punch appeared and filled the air, demolishing the hell hand. The emperors around stared at Lin Feng, stupefied. How come Lin Feng was so strong? He had used demon strength which had the power of a medium-level emperor. He had also used wind cosmic energies. Wasn't it the first time that cosmic energies had cleansed his body? They couldn't understand what was going on. They were all too astonished. Dazzling silver wings appeared in Lin Feng's back. He started beating them. He also released wind cosmic energies through his wings as he suddenly disappeared again. Chapter 1869. Powerful Life and Death. Oh no. The other emperors were astonished. Lin Feng could defeat a medium-level hell emperor, and his 9-headed dragon was absorbing the man's strength. Die! The trapped man shouted furiously, and a pitch-black demon appeared. However, Lin Feng stretched out his hand and a destructive black lotus appeared. Lin Feng threw the black lotus at his opponent, and it crashed against him. At the same time, Lin Feng moved back. Destructive black fire strength exploded. The atmosphere suddenly looked like purgatory. A horrible shriek spread in the air as the man turned gray, black, and was then reduced to ashes. The men around were completely astonished. They had come to that place bearing goodwill, and now that guy had died. They realized that Lin Feng hadn't just broken through to the Huangqi layer, he had broken through to the Huangqi layer a long time before. He was extremely strong. Who are you? They asked Lin Feng icily. 5 groups are fighting over this place. Who could I be? Asked Lin Feng, smiling coldly. They glanced at one another and said, We know everyone from the groups. Which group do you belong to? Great Imperial Song City, said Lin Feng calmly. He slowly turned around and moved to the peak of the mountain which had exploded. He released sword intent and waved his hands. Suddenly, the top of the mountain was shorn flat. Lin Feng jumped onto the flat land and looked back at them. I'm waiting for you here. You can come anytime. Their eyes glittered. They glanced at one another. This guy was enigmatic and unfathomable. They didn't know how strong he really was. Maybe Great Imperial Song City had some trump cards. They didn't want to risk their lives. Very quickly, they retreated. Lin Feng was still seated there cross-legged. 3,000 great deployment spells appeared in his brain, and among them, one was a life and death deployment spell. He needed to use both death and life strength to cast that deployment spell. Lin Feng started studying it using his Celestial Evolution Holy Scriptures. He could imitate spells better that way. Lin Feng understood life and death strength extremely well. If he managed to cast the great life and death deployment spell, his attacks would be even more explosive. A few hours later, black patterns appeared around Lin Feng, one of life and the other of death. The pattern landed on the ground. Lin Feng bombarded it with deployment marks. The marks stuck to the patterns, which seemed to be alive. After a short time, the whole mountain was surrounded by dazzling black and green marks. The birth of the 10,000 things of creation, filled with vitality, whispered Lin Feng. Suddenly, the gigantic pattern disappeared from the mountain. Where there was life energy, trees started growing at visible speed. After a short time, life chi emerged from them. Many people sensed those energies and raised their heads. Chapter 1870. Wang Zhu's death. Very quickly, everybody learned about those people's deaths and were astonished. They had all paid attention to what the others had been doing. They were wondering who had killed the strong cultivators from Taishan City. Everybody started investigating. Who had killed those people? 2 people appeared in the mountains where Lin Feng was. One of them was Wang Zhu, the other one was the other survivor who had managed to escape with him. They were astonished when they saw what had happened. Lin Feng. Wang Zhu looked at him strangely. There were green trees everywhere and there was only one person here. Lin Feng. How come it's you? Wang Zhu asked as he landed on the mountain. Lin Feng opened his eyes and looked at Wang Zhu. I'm here, do I need to have a reason to be here? Wang Zhu was surprised. Lin Feng was alone there? Have you seen those who killed the strong cultivators from Taishan City? Wang Zhu asked Lin Feng. Lin Feng shook his head. I haven't. He couldn't have seen them because he had killed them. Are you hiding here? Wang Zhu asked icily. Lin Feng looked back at him coldly. Mind your own business, will you? Wang Zhu had pissed him off those days. Because of his poor tactical skills, everyone from Great Imperial Song City had died. Luckily, Lin Feng had left straight from the beginning. Yes, Lin Feng dared look at him coldly. Wang Zhu didn't smile, he was furious. Lin Feng, you escaped, you abandoned us, the people from Great Imperial Song City, accused Wang Zhu, staring at Lin Feng. Lin Feng stood up. He was furious too and said to Wang Zhu, you want to kill me? How do you know? Shot back Wang Zhu icily. He slowly walked over to Lin Feng and said, I'm just picking up bodies. Minister Uptila won't say anything. Besides, he won't even know you died. The way you think is not bad, said Lin Feng. He looked at the other and said, there's a witness though. Are you going to kill us both? Don't worry about that. He's with me, said Wang Zhu, releasing his qi. Do you want to know who killed the people from Taishan City? Lin Feng asked Wang Zhu mockingly. You know? Asked Wang Zhu, staring at Lin Feng. Lin Feng nodded. Who? Asked Wang Zhu. He was surprised. Lin Feng walked towards him and death marks appeared everywhere, then a deployment pattern appeared. Life qi turned into death qi. The atmosphere became dark. Wang Zhu's expression changed drastically. He saw the illusion and turned deathly pale. That was a powerful death strength. He looked at Lin Feng. Lin Feng said grimly, it was me. Then, death energies started converging and surrounded Wang Zhu. Wang Zhu stared at Lin Feng. His body turned black. No, however, it was already too late. Death qi surrounded him as well as the other man. They both turned into corpses. Lin Feng looked at them emotionlessly. In his hands, 2 black flames appeared. He threw the 2 fireballs at the corpses and burned them to ashes. He also took their weapons. Wang Zhu had an extraordinary social status and had been strong. He had incredible treasures. However, at that moment, Lin Feng raised his head and gazed into the distance. He saw someone, but that person seemed blind, as if he hadn't seen Lin Feng. However, Lin Feng sensed a cold presence. Jian Mang, he's here too, thought Lin Feng. When they had come to the small world, Lin Feng hadn't seen Jian Mang. But now he was there and it seemed that he had sensed that Wang Zhu and the other man had been killed. Even though Jian Mang couldn't see much, with his godly awareness, he could still inspect the area. You want to kill me so that I don't say anything? Said Jian Mang calmly. Wang Zhu had an incredible social status, and Lin Feng had killed him in one strike with his deployment spell. If people in Great Imperial Song City learned about this, Lin Feng would be doomed. Your deployment spells are powerful, I won't go in. If you come out of the deployment spell, I will kill you, said Jian Mang said slowly. And so, said Lin Feng. Of course, he wasn't my friend. He died and it has nothing to do with me. I don't care. However, I still want to win the war for Great Imperial Song City, said Jian Mang. Lin Feng recalled his energies. Jian Mang didn't know Wang Zhuo and didn't care about him. They weren't friends. And Lin Feng and Jian Mang weren't enemies. You mean you want us to join hands? Asked Lin Feng. Indeed. Even though I'm quite strong, our enemies haven't lost many people. I can't kill them on my own. With my strength and your deployment spells, things would be different. Even if we are the last two ones, we have hope, said Jian Mang straightforwardly. He wanted to win the war. What would that bring to us? Said Lin Feng. It would prove how strong I am, said Jian Mang. Lin Feng smiled and nodded. All right, we can cooperate. But I'm not going to look for them. They can come. If they don't come, then we'll wait until the last day. I don't mind, agreed Jian Mang calmly. Lin Feng sat down cross-legged and closed his eyes. He began studying evolution energy, making his life and death energies evolve. He started moving his hands, and another pattern appeared indistinctly. Lin Feng kept drawing life and death energies. He was casting another deployment spell. However, what he didn't know was that at that moment, in a luxurious building in Great Imperial Song City, someone was furious and their qi was raging to the skies. That was Wang Zhuo's father, Wang Xiao. Wang Zhuo was talented, and relying on himself, he had won 100 battles for Great Imperial Song City. He was extremely talented, had traveled a lot, and had many precious items. His future was supposed to be bright. However, he was dead now. Who killed my son? Shouted Wang Xiao furiously. He had done his best to raise Wang Zhuo, his only son. His dream in life was to see his son surpass him. Now he was dead. Wang Zhen, Minister Kalasutra, Minister Uptala, you're really cruel, shouted Wang Xiao furiously, before leaving his home in a rage. Chapter 1871. Defeat. Wang Xiao started flying towards the small world Ling Feng was located in. He immediately broke the seal and entered. People from the 5 influential groups guarded the entrance. When they saw Wang Xiao, they were stupefied. Someone said, Master, we sealed the area because the battles have already started. You're violating the rules, so Great Imperial Song City is violating the rules. When he said that, the others looked at the guards of Great Imperial Song City. Minister Wang Xiao, indeed, those are the rules. During the battle, nobody can come here and disturb them, said the strong cultivator from Great Imperial Song City while bowing respectfully. I just came to watch. I'm not going to get involved, said Wang Xiao. He suddenly started flying again, ignoring everybody else. Nobody dared to stop him. The other people's eyes glittered. This man from Great Imperial Song City was extremely strong, but they weren't convinced he wasn't going to get involved. Otherwise, the strong cultivators of the other groups would join hands and attack him together. Very quickly, Wang Xiao found a palace. That palace was the place Minister Kalasutra and the others were guarding. Minister Kalasutra sensed a powerful qi approaching and rose up into the air. When he saw Wang Xiao, he was astonished and looked at him strangely. Wang Xiao, what are you doing here? He asked. My son came here with you to conquer this territory, and now he's dead. You're a minister and you're surprisingly asking me what I'm doing here? Replied Wang Xiao icily, staring at Minister Kalasutra. He sounded very angry. Wang Zhuo is dead? Minister Kalasutra was astonished. He couldn't believe it. He knew how strong Wang Zhuo was. He was extremely strong and very smart. He also had many precious treasures. Killing him wouldn't be easy. You didn't even know? Shouted Wang Xiao furiously. Powerful lights glittered in his eyes. When Minister Kalasutra saw Wang Zhao's expression, he frowned and said, Wang Xiao, I'm very sad and sorry for your loss. Wang Zhuo was a real genius. But war is war. We're in a territory that we're trying to conquer. Death is inevitable. My son, shouted Wang Xiao, bursting out in anger. His voice carried explosive energies that made the sky churn. Young men of Great Imperial Song City will die here. Nobody can be sure they won't die. Your son, Wang Zhuo, came here to conquer the territory. Who could guarantee he wasn't going to die? He was just too weak. How can you blame anyone? Said Minister Kalasutra, getting angry now. He wasn't polite anymore, and his tone of speech was ice cold. Hell was a cruel place. Nobody could guarantee anyone's safety. If you wanted to be sure your son was never going to die, why did you make him practice cultivation? Pressed Minister Kalasutra icily. Wang Xiao, you're a minister. You're also in charge of wars to conquer territories. Now leave. You cannot get involved here. Kalasutra. Wang Xiao glared at the minister with murder in his eyes. Piss off. If you have anything to complain about, go to Great Emperor Song to report me. Shot back Minister Kalasutra. He wasn't a weakling. He was strong and aggressive. The atmosphere around him darkened abruptly. Very good, Kalasutra, said Wang Xiao icily. Then he turned around and left, saying over his shoulder, when you come out, if you haven't conquered this place, I will come and find you. Minister Kalasutra didn't care about what Wang Xiao said. Even though Wang Xiao was a descendant of Great Emperor Song, there were rules. Great Emperor Song was one of the 10 Yama court's kings. Many ministers were under his orders. He couldn't get angry because some of his family members had died. The cultivation world was about life and death, strength and weakness. Even the strongest cultivators in the world could die sometimes. Wang Zhuo is dead, surprisingly, whispered Minister Kalasutra. He was surprised too. Wang Zhuo was extremely strong and surprisingly, someone had still managed to kill him. No wonder Minister Wang Xiao was furious. Who had killed Wang Zhuo? In the distance, a few people arrived. Among them, there were 2 beautiful women, Qing Qing and Qin Yao. Dad, who dared act that arrogantly? Qin Yao asked Minister Kalasutra. She had easily heard the 2 extremely loud voices. Wang Xiao. Wang Zhuo has been killed. He came to ask for explanations, said Minister Kalasutra dismissively. Qin Yao and Qing Qing were astonished. Wang Zhuo had been killed. What's wrong with you? Minister Kalasutra asked the 2 girls. We lost the low-level Hell Emperor's battle. The enemies made an alliance with the local people. Among them there were a few terrifyingly strong medium-level Hell Emperors. And it doesn't count as a violation of the rules, because those people don't belong to any kind of powerful group. If local people attacked us, they can say they did it willingly. Their own medium-level Hell Emperors haven't gotten involved, obviously, said Qin Yao unhappily. Their opponents had clearly set the rules to suit themselves. Wang Zhuo has been killed too, so the medium-level Hell Emperor's war must be lost as well, said Qing Qing, her eyes glittering. She felt sad too. Wang Zhuo had been really strong for a medium-level Hell Emperor. He was one of their strongest assets, a great loss. They had definitely lost the war. She wondered how Lin Feng was doing. Indeed, it's quite possible. The high-level Hell Emperors lost first, so we may have really lost, sighed Minister Kalasutra sadly. He had seen the high-level Hell Emperors battle. They had been destroyed very quickly. Very few people remained alive. Our enemies were ready. Losing isn't a surprise, observed Qin Yao. Right, they all plotted against us and joined hands. Now, let's just watch and stop fighting. We can wait for the end of the war. We can see if we can compete again at some point. But if not, we can give up, said someone else. Qing Qing and Qin Yao both nodded, annoyed. It was a tragedy for Great Imperial Song City. There were fewer and fewer people on all the battlefields. However, the battles were also more and more deadly. However, all of that seemed to have nothing to do with Lin Feng. During those days, he walked in the mountains, he went to villages and cities. He saw many people, some of them lucky, some of them suffering. Some faced death, some lived. Lin Feng forgot about his own self. He led his life as an ordinary person and watched life go by. A month later, Lin Feng looked like someone who had suffered a lot in life. His clothes were ragged. He looked worn down and quiet, like an ordinary person. He laid down in the grass, put a wisp of straw in his mouth and nibbled it. Time passed slowly as he looked up at the blue sky. After understanding the path of life and death, Lin Feng understood that he couldn't just practice cultivation really hard all the time. He couldn't kill people unceasingly either. Sometimes, it was important to relax and get back to nature. The world was beautiful, and that in itself was beneficial. However, in the cultivation world, it was impossible to remain calm and serene all the time. At that moment, a powerful thread of qi appeared in the sky and oppressed the whole region. Lin Feng looked up at the energy. Some powerful lights had appeared in the sky, and a white bolt of lightning descended from the sky. A strong wind started blowing as someone landed next to Lin Feng. Lin Feng looked at him nonchalantly and said, "You're blind, but you can find people so easily." Jian Mang kept finding him everywhere and easily. "It's starting. Everybody is gathering. Let's go," said Jian Mang. He was efficient and didn't waste time. Chapter 1872. Two people the forces gathered. The 5 Hell Great Emperors looked at the crowd from the sky. The number of people of the 5 groups wasn't homogeneous, though. For example, it seemed that there was almost nobody left from Great Imperial Song City and Taishan City. Minister Uptala looked calm and serene even though there were very few people left from Great Imperial Song City. War was about death. Battles to conquer territories could only be cruel. The strongest ones survived, the weakest ones died. That was their destiny and he couldn't do anything about it. "Who joined hands to kill my people?" demanded the Hell Great Emperor of Taishan City. They had already lost. He wanted to know who had killed their people. "If it was you, just say it," shouted a subordinate of the Taishan Hell Great Emperor. "We didn't do anything," replied the strong cultivator of Chujiang City indifferently. The others remained silent. The strong cultivator of Taishan City frowned. How strange. How could his warriors have disappeared just like that? Many strong cultivators came here. Chujiang City lost the least amount of people. "They've won," said the high-level Hell Emperor of Qingguang City. They had seemingly won the battle of the high-level Hell Emperors. "I agree," said the Hell Great Emperor of Taishan City indifferently. They completely ignored Great Imperial Song City, who had nobody left anymore. Then, they looked at the Hell Great Emperor of Pingdeng City. "I agree too," said the Hell Great Emperor of Pingdeng City. The strong cultivator of Chujiang City smiled. "So we won. Great." However, at that moment, 2 people arrived in a flash of light. The crowd turned around and saw a blind man and a low-level emperor. "Great Imperial Song City refuses to surrender," said the blind man. The crowd was astonished. These 2 people? Minister Uptala looked at Jian Mang and Lin Feng strangely. Some mysterious things happen sometimes. Jian Mang and Lin Feng had both won 100 victories at the same time in the city. They had also defeated 9 other champions, and now they were here together. They were the last survivors of Great Imperial Song City. "Lin Feng, where are the others?" asked Minister Uptala to Lin Feng. "All the other groups had already plotted together against us, so when we arrived, they were attacked. However, I decided to go away before that, so I didn't see them. Then I bumped into Jian Mang." "I don't know about the others," said Lin Feng calmly. Minister Uptala nodded. Wars were cruel. Great Imperial Song City had lost many people. "Minister Uptala, does Great Imperial Song City accept the result or not?" asked the strong cultivator of Chujiang City smiling coldly. Minister Uptala didn't reply. He looked at Lin Feng and Jian Mang. He knew they were incredible warriors. However, Chujiang City still had so many people and Lin Feng had just become a medium-level Hell Emperor. Only Jian Mang could easily defeat other medium-level Hell Emperors. "We don't," stated Jian Mang. "If you don't, then you have to battle to the death." "Are you sure?" asked the Hell Great Emperor of Chujiang City smiling coldly. They still had 16 medium-level Hell Emperors. 2 people couldn't do anything against them, they were just acting recklessly. Minister Uptala said, "Jian Mang, Lin Feng, are you sure?" "Minister, we want to fight," said Lin Feng, nodding at Minister Uptala. When he saw how proud and self-confident they looked, he was surprised but smiled. "All right, since you want to fight, I support you too. Great Imperial Song City doesn't accept the result and wants to continue battling." "How brave," said the Hell Great Emperor of Chujiang City smiling coldly. He waved his hands and said, "Everybody, battle to death." The members of the other groups moved back. Minister Uptala looked at Lin Feng and nodded. Apart from the strong cultivators of Chujiang City and Lin Feng and Jian Mang, nobody was left. Everybody else had moved back and wanted to watch the battle. "You cast deployment spells, I kill," said Jian Mang to Lin Feng. Lin Feng nodded his agreement. He landed on the ground and marks started appearing everywhere. Lin Feng was carved deployment marks at incredible speed. Deployment spells? Minister Uptila was astonished. Lin Feng understood deployment spells? Lin Feng released wind cosmic energies around his body to move even faster. His deployment marks were dazzling. The strong cultivators of Chujiang City were shocked. Those two dared fight. They had a reason. Deployment spells. Kill him first and prevent him from casting a deployment spell, ordered someone icily. Deployment spells could be terrifying. Use a death spell and kill him instantly, shouted someone icily, releasing death cosmic energies which surrounded Lin Feng. However, Lin Feng merely released life cosmic energies to counter them. Life cosmic energies? Life cosmic energies can oppress death energy, thought the strong cultivators of Chujiang City, who had all started releasing death cosmic energies at the same time. Their death cosmic energies were truly powerful. They could have killed a strong cultivator easily, but when those energies crashed onto Lin Feng's body, they turned into life cosmic energy. Green lights of vitality started appearing around Lin Feng. How is that possible? Thought the amazed Shijian combatants. They didn't understand what was going on. Lin Feng didn't stop moving and carving out dazzling marks. Demon and earth cosmic energies rose up into the air. A destructive strength oppressed the whole battlefield. A hellish spear streaked across the sky towards Lin Feng, carrying pure death intent. The air darkened as it sped forwards. Lin Feng smiled icily, as his Tianji sword spat out all sorts of cosmic energies and collided with the spear, shattering it instantly. Dozens and dozens of punches appeared in the air, and death strength rose to the skies. Their goal was simple: destroy Lin Feng and Jian Mang with an endless amount of death strength. The circle of life, said Lin Feng. His life cosmic energy turned into a vortex and absorbed everything around. The incoming death strength kept turning into life strength. Lin Feng opened his mouth and swallowed all the energy before all their eyes. Jian Mang didn't waste time either. He moved like a lightning sword, his sword energies slashing at someone's eyes. Jian Mang was punched by an opponent and coughed up blood and was forced backwards. Jian Mang's sword attacks were strange. They didn't look powerful, but they were deadly. Kill the one who's carving the deployment marks, shouted a cultivator furiously. Many people attacked at the same time, using all sorts of other cosmic energies to surround Lin Feng. Lin Feng stepped away, and dazzling deployment marks started flashing and rising to the skies, colliding with all the energies. Their interplay blotted out the sky. Lin Feng's life energies had turned into a powerful vortex, forming a giant life and death pattern. His life and death energies have become one. His life energies heal him and he uses his death energies to attack, thought Minister Uptila, pleasantly astonished. Lin Feng understood life and death energies so well already. At the same time, he could even cast deployment spells. Minister Uptila was getting more and more impressed every day. The gigantic pattern dashed to the skies, and suddenly many people fell down from the air. Jian Mang continued moving around at lightning speed. His sword lights were dazzling. Horrible shrieks kept sounding out and many people's eyes started bleeding. What a fast sword! His sword moves like lightning. The crowd was shaken. These two people were terrifying. Who knew there were such cultivators in Great Imperial Song City? Chapter 1873. You're the only real loser. Minister Uptila was shocked and amazed by Lin Feng and Jian Mang's strength. He murmured to himself, "It's not a strange kind of cosmic energy, it's light cosmic energy." There was an infinite number of cosmic energies, but the most common ones weren't numerous, and were usually related to the 5 elements. However, some people also used powerful and strange cosmic energies, as was usually the case of some people from animal clans or people who had king body types. They could use strange and mysterious cosmic energies because they had inherited them. Some cosmic energies were related to the elements. For example, a golden crow's fire energy was an ameliorated version of sun energy. Some very talented people understood decay cosmic energy, and when reaching enlightenment, those people could control time. Some incredible people could also control light cosmic energy. Light cosmic energy granted a cultivator speed and could also make people go blind. Coupled with sword techniques, their attacks could be terrifyingly powerful. He didn't even use his full strength on the battle stage, otherwise he would have been able to defeat 6 people at the same time too. Thought Minister Uptala watching Jian Mang. Life, death, light and sword cosmic energies had filled the air, and coupled with the shattering deployment spell, half of the strong cultivators of Chujiang City had already been killed. When all the energies dispersed, the crowd noticed that a dozen people had died, and 3 had gone blind. 2 more were severely injured, 1 was lightly injured, and 2 were unharmed. When the crowd saw all this, they were astonished. What a tragedy for the strong cultivators of Chujiang City. The strong cultivator of Chujiang City wanted to say something, but in the end he didn't. He was speechless. Jian Mang continued moving. His attacks still looked simple, but they were deadly. The 3 blinded people died at the same time, his sword lights cutting through their souls and flesh. The strong cultivators of Chujiang City were astonished and had no time to react. Jian Mang's attacks were terrifying, they just realized how dangerous he was. However, the battle wasn't over yet. Imprison. Lin Feng flashed away, waved his hands, and one of the injured cultivators from Chujiang City was caged. The Tianji sword glittered, streaked across the sky towards him, piercing through his body and killing him. "Wake up!" shouted the Hell Great Emperor of Chujiang City furiously. The atmosphere shook. Lin Feng and Jian Mang even trembled. A lotus sword streaked across the sky again and 3 more people from Chujiang City died. However, this time, they were killed by Minister Uptala. "What are you doing?" shouted the Hell Great Emperor from Chujiang City furiously. "You intervened, so I can intervene too," replied Minister Uptala calmly. Then he waved his hand and strength surrounded a strong cultivator from Chujiang City again. That person died instantly. The crowd looked at the Hell Great Emperor from Chujiang City. He had indeed just violated the rules indeed by getting involved. The medium-level Hell Emperors of Chujiang City were being slaughtered. Lin Feng, Jian Mang, and Minister Uptala killed them all. Those people were all heroes from Chujiang City, and now they had all died. What a tragedy! Taishan City, Taiguang, Pingdeng City, they have all surrendered. Now, Chujiang City decided to fight against Great Imperial Song City, and Great Imperial Song City has won this battle. I don't think anyone has anything to say about this, right? Asked Minister Uptala. The Hell Great Emperors of Taishan City and the other cities nodded. Great Imperial Song City had 2 incredible cultivators. They couldn't say anything against them. They didn't care if all those strong cultivators from Chujiang City had died. It had nothing to do with them. They had just watched the battle happily. The Chujian Hell Great Emperor was probably furious at the people from Great Imperial Song City. It was even more amusing that way. "I'm sure we'll meet again," said the Hell Great Emperor of Chujiang City, glaring at Minister Uptala, Lin Feng, and Jian Mang icily. He turned around and left. He didn't need to stay there. They'd had hopes for this battlefield, they had already lost the 2 others. Now they had nothing. The cultivators of Taishan City left too. They had also lost the 3 battles. "Let's go," said Minister Uptala quietly. A gigantic blue Uptala lotus appeared. Lin Feng and Jian Mang jumped aboard it, and they all left. Now, the great emperors went to gather where the high-level emperors were fighting. The 3 groups gathered there. Wang Zhen and Minister Kalasutra looked at Minister Uptala. Wang Zhen said, "I thought we'd lost, but why did you come back with 2 people?" Minister Kalasutra stared at Jian Mang and Lin Feng. He only knew that Wang Zhua had died, so he had thought they'd lost that battle. However, Minister Uptala had now told him they had won that battle using telepathy. "Everybody else died fighting," said Minister Uptala. Wang Zhen was stunned. They had all died during the fighting? Wang Zhua is dead too? Wang Zhen was shocked and angry. Wang Zhua and he were related by blood. They were Great Emperor Song's descendants. How could he explain this to Wang Xiao? "Everybody died, including Wang Zhua, then those 2 survivors won?" asked Wang Zhen. He couldn't believe it. Lin Feng had survived, Wang Zhua had died. Had Minister Uptala protected Lin Feng? He died a long time ago, said Minister Kalasutra. Wang Shao even came inside to ask what had happened. I made him go back. It's a war, not a game. Wang Zhou died, that's part of war. Wang Shao came here earlier? Wang Zhen was startled and pulled a long face. He looked at Minister Kalasutra. Minister, you should have told me earlier. Wang Zhou had died. Even if they conquered the territory, Wang Shao wouldn't forgive him. Minister Kalasutra frowned. What did Wang Zhen think? That great Emperor Song's descendants were superior to them, or what? They were ministers, they were stronger than Wang Zhen, how could they report to him? And since Wang Zhou died, how did you win the medium-level Hell Emperor's battle? Asked Wang Zhen. I don't know how Wang Zhou died. However, at the end of the 3 months, Lin Feng and Jian Mang decided to fight alone and defeated all the strong cultivators of Chujiang City. They won. Minister Uptala informed them. Wang Zhen was astonished and stared at Lin Feng and Jian Mang. You defeated all the cultivators of Chujiang City? Wang Zhen couldn't believe his eyes and asked, Minister Uptala, you managed the battle there, and surprisingly you don't know how Wang Zhou died? Wang Zhen glanced at Lin Feng and asked, how did Wang Zhou die? Wang Zhou did things his own way and died. Why do you need to ask us, Master? Lin Feng asked Wang Zhen. Wang Zhou's death is a big problem, I need to understand, said Wang Zhen. Wang Shao was really strong, and Wang Zhou was Wang Zhao's only son. They were supposed to help him conquer that territory, they needed to have a clear explanation. Wang Shao had a bad temper, he would remember them. We risked our lives and now you just remember Wang Zhou's death? Don't you know that Minister Uptala and Minister Kalasutra also lost many people? Lin Feng asked indifferently. Wang Zhen looked furious. Minister Uptala and Minister Kalasutra thought the same way, but Lin Feng had dared say it out loud. Wang Zhen remained silent with difficulty. Your Excellencies, if you agree, you can join Qingguang City's army, said the nearby Hell Great Emperor from Qingguang City to Lin Feng and Jian Mang. They had done so much for Great Imperial Song City, and now Great Imperial Song City's rulers seemed ungrateful. They were more than willing to accept such strong cultivators. Wang Zhen doesn't represent Great Imperial Song City. He just expresses his own opinion, said Minister Uptala at that moment. Wang Zhen was afraid of Wang Shao, that was why he was acting this way. Kalasutra, I'm not participating anymore and you? Asked Minister Uptala. Kalasutra turned around and waved dismissively, we're retreating as well. Minister Uptala nodded and looked at Lin Feng and Jian Mang. Let's go then. A gigantic lotus reappeared, the few remaining people jumped onto it. Qing, Lin Feng, and the others jumped onto the lotus and left without even glancing at Wang Zhen. Wang Zhen pulled a long face. Minister Uptala and Minister Kalasutra had come to help, and without them, he couldn't do anything anymore. He looked at the cultivators from Qingguang City and Pingdeng City. They looked back at him mockingly. His cheeks felt like they were burning. Brother Wang Shao, Wang Zhen greeted him politely. Don't call me that, said Wang Shao icily. I'm asking you, who killed my son Wang Zhou? Wang Zhen's expression changed drastically. How unlucky. What a tragedy, today was so horrible. He had to give Wang Shao an explanation, but he didn't know how Wang Zhou had died. Brother Wang Shao, after we entered that territory, I asked Minister Uptala to take care of Wang Zhou. However, later, they told me that he had been killed. I was furious at Minister Uptala and Minister Kalasutra. Then, they abandoned me and refused to continue helping me conquer the area. I was forced to leave the small world and came back alone, said Wang Zhen coldly. He was trying to blame everyone else for all those problems. What you mean is that you don't know how my son died? Asked Wang Shao. An ice-cold chi surrounded Wang Zhen. The battlefields were divided into 3, one for low-level Hell Emperors, one for medium-level Hell Emperors, and one for high-level Hell Emperors. Wang Zhou followed Minister Uptala to the medium-level Hell Emperor's battlefield. Only medium-level Hell Emperors could fight, so nothing should have happened to Wang Zhou. I don't know what Minister Uptala did. You can go and check, Brother Wang Shao. A bunch of nonsense, shouted Wang Shao furiously. My son had my talisman. He could have made it explode to protect his life. Unless a Hell Great Emperor attacked him, he couldn't have died. How could he die on the medium-level Hell Emperor's battlefield? I also think it's strange, Wang Zhen agreed. He had already thought of that. If Wang Zhou had faced danger, he would have broken the talisman or used a great imperial weapon. However, he had been killed nonetheless. There's another possibility, said Wang Zhen suddenly as if he had thought of something. What possibility? Asked Wang Xiao. One of your people could have assassinated him, proposed Wang Zhen icily. Indeed, Minister Uptala came back alone with Lin Feng and Jian Mang. One of them is blind, the other one has just become a medium-level Hell Emperor. How could they be strong enough to kill all those medium-level Hell Emperors? How come they cooperated? Besides, Minister Uptala and Lin Feng are quite close. He takes care of Lin Feng. Lin Feng even went back to Minister Uptala's headquarters. Wang Xiao frowned. His son had died, and the matter was very strange, so anything was possible. Lin Feng and Jian Mang were the only survivors. Brother Wang Xiao, you have an inspection technique. If you inspect their memories, you'll find out the truth, said Wang Zhen. Wang Xiao seemed pensive. He couldn't do anything against Minister Uptala and Minister Kalasutra. Regarding Lin Feng and Jian Mang, he just needed an opportunity to attack them. After all, they were Minister Uptala's guests. He couldn't attack them openly. However, his son Wang Zhou had died. He had to try anything he could. Lin Feng didn't know what Wang Xiao and Wang Zhen were talking about. He was in Minister Uptala's headquarters. Minister Uptala, we offended Wang Zhen. He's one of Great Emperor Song's descendants. Won't they cause trouble? Asked Lin Feng to Minister Uptala. We're in hell. There are 10 Yama courts. If we hold grudges against one another, then Great Imperial Song City will disappear. Lin Feng, you have to understand that strength is all that matters here, said Minister Uptala. Great Imperial Song City was one of the 10 cities of hell. Strength was all that mattered. Anyone who was strong enough was respected. Lin Feng was such a person. Minister, do kings inherit their position of 10 Yama Court's king? Asked Lin Feng. Minister Uptala looked at Lin Feng, smiled and shook his head. Of course not. The position of 10 Yama Court's king is obtained thanks to strength. If someone becomes a peerless cultivator and defeats Great Emperor Song, then they'll replace him. But nobody has tried to attack Great Emperor Song in thousands of years. Lin Feng was stupefied. Great Emperor Song had been one of the 10 Yama Court's kings for thousands of years? How strong? Of course, even though Wang Zhen doesn't attack strong people, maybe he will try and attack you. After all, you offended him too. You have to be careful, warned Minister Uptala. Lin Feng nodded, he knew that. Let's go, Lin Feng. I'm going to show you around the Uptala district, said Minister Uptala, smiling at Lin Feng. He took Lin Feng to several different buildings. After a short time, they arrived in front of a lake and went into the water. There was a door there, it looked like an illusion. They crossed it and ended up in a courtyard. There was a pattern under Lin Feng's feet. Teleportation deployment spell. Thought Lin Feng looking at the marks of the pattern. The marks were holy marks. After Minister Uptala conquered a territory, he had created a teleportation deployment spell to go there easily. Let's go! Minister Uptala and Lin Feng rose up into the air. After a short time, they appeared above a beautiful watery world. There were many waterfalls and rivers. Lin Feng gazed into the distance and saw people wearing Uptala armor. They were seated cross-legged and practicing cultivation. Some of them fought against one another to practice. Some others talked about cultivation. Those people were also extremely strong. Those people are the members of the Uptala army. They work together a lot. They can fight against one another to compare themselves, and they can talk about cultivation. I also make them travel sometimes. Of course, if they want to stay alone, they can too. They help me control this part of hell. People who are talented can join my army, Minister Uptala explained to Lin Feng. Lin Feng nodded. This army controlled a part of hell. Chapter 1875. Challenge of the Celestial Country. Minister greeted his army, bowing before Minister Uptala. Don't pay attention to me, said Minister Uptala calmly. The crowd then continued with what they were doing. Minister, I can sense blue Uptila lotus intent here. Why? Lin Feng asked him. Minister Uptila smiled. Rise higher up in the air and observe the region, you'll understand. Lin Feng was surprised. He rose up into the air, piercing through some clouds, and looked down. That gigantic ice and watery world had the shape of a lotus. The mountains were gigantic petals. Blue Uptila lotus. Lin Feng was stunned. He dropped back down to Minister Uptila. Minister Uptila smiled and said, "It was a flatland, so my father planted some blue Uptila lotus seeds here. It turned into a water and ice world. Many strong cultivators here practice hellish ice cultivation, as my father did. I practice fire cultivation. So now many people here control fire too. Everybody can practice what they want, everybody is the master of their own destiny. Everybody chooses different paths. You have already chosen the path of life and death. You understand life and death better than most people. Even though I can't influence people's destinies, at least I can help them along," Minister Uptila said slowly. Lin Feng nodded. Cultivators understood cosmic energies. Cosmic energies influenced a cultivator's life and what they could understand or study later. But nothing was fixed. Minister Uptila was telling Lin Feng, "My path of the Uptila is my own path. I can help you, but I can't decide anything for you." Lin Feng had been helped a great deal by Minister Uptila. Without him he wouldn't have been cleansed by life-death cosmic energy. "Minister, so when I observe the blue Uptila lotus, I can't borrow your ideas to make them turn into my own path?" asked Lin Feng. "Of course you can, but you just use it, you don't apply everything. And anyway, powerful families emerge like that. Their ancestors keep passing things on to their descendants, and they become stronger and stronger if they do the right things," explained Minister Uptila. Lin Feng nodded. That was the role of a teacher. Besides, there's a strange rock in this world, called the Mark of the Path. It allows cultivators to understand the strength of enlightenment, Minister Uptila mentioned. Lin Feng had already been cleansed by the life-death dual energy. Even many great emperors weren't capable of achieving that. It wasn't a criterion to become a great emperor at all. However, it was an advantage if a great emperor had undergone the process. Mark of the Path? It was the first time Lin Feng heard about that strange thing. Indeed, the Mark of the Path. There are many sorts of marks of the path. The simplest ones are used by cultivators to mark their path inside. There are also marks of the path used by cultivators before dying. If she's strong enough, she can go if she wishes, Minister Uptila agreed. "Minister, who's this young man? I've never seen him before," asked Sherchuan, looking at Lin Feng. Even though Minister Uptila was humble and amiable, not many people could stand next to Minister Uptila like that. Minister Uptila probably liked this young man a great deal. "I forgot to introduce you. This is Lin Feng. He's not a low-level Hell Emperor, but he might be able to defeat high-level Hell Emperors," smiled Minister Uptila. Sherchuan was surprised and asked, "He's not hiding his cultivation level?" 3 months ago, he was on the battle stage outside of the city, on the battle stage of low-level Hell Emperors. He attained 100 non-stop victories, and then he defeated 9 other champions. He even defeated 6 of them at the same time. And while he was fighting, he became a medium-level Hell Emperor, explained Minister Uptila, smiling as he recounted the past. "He's barely been a medium-level Hell Emperor and can already defeat high-level Hell Emperors?" said Sherchuan. He couldn't believe it. "How incredible! I took them to conquer a territory. The other cultivator who won 100 battles was a medium-level Hell Emperor. Together, they defeated 16 medium-level Hell Emperors from Chujiang City." Sherchuan was amazed. 2 people had defeated 16 medium-level Hell Emperors from Chujiang? And where is the other one? "He's alone having a walk." "All right," said Sherchuan with a nod. He looked at Lin Feng and said, "Little friend, when you become a high-level Hell Emperor, I'll take you to the celestial country." I was thinking the same. There are cultivators of different levels in the celestial country. There are many low-level Hell Emperors and medium-level Hell Emperors there, but it's still too dangerous for people who aren't high-level Hell Emperors. When Lin Feng becomes a high-level Hell Emperor, take him there. He'll benefit from it. Agreed Minister Uptila. Lin Feng asked, Minister, what is the celestial country? The celestial country is a world created for geniuses. There are many extremely strong and heroic warriors there who constantly fight to become stronger. When people go there, they call it the challenge of the celestial country, explained Minister Uptala explained in simple words. Lin Feng's eyes lit up. Chapter 1876, Endless Strong Cultivators. What is the criterion to take the challenge of the celestial country? Asked Lin Feng. He was curious as he hadn't known there was such a place in hell. There's no criterion. If you have broken through to the Huangqi layer, you can go. However, it is an independent place cut off from the world. You cannot use treasures from outside there. You can't use other people's godly awareness, either. That place is filled with a strange strength. It's called the challenge of the celestial country because people go there to practice and challenge themselves, Shichuan told him. Lin Feng was startled. He looked at Shichuan and asked, Master, is it possible to go participate in the challenge of the celestial country anytime? The passage is opened once a year. When you go there, you have to stay for a year. It's very dangerous. You can't use ancestors' godly awareness there. Even if people kill you there, nobody will know about it, Shichuan explained to Lin Feng politely. Lin Feng nodded, he understood. No matter who went there, everybody was the same in there. A person's social status didn't matter there, nobody could protect them. It was probably a chaotic world, however, people called it a celestial country? When will the next opening happen? Asked Lin Feng. Shichuan answered, soon. That's why I'm selecting people in the Uptala army among those who are willing to go. Once every year. Lin Feng's eyes shone, he looked at Minister Uptala and said, Minister, I want to participate in the challenge of the celestial country this time. Minister Uptala was surprised and looked at Lin Feng. The challenge of the celestial country is extremely hard. You have to stay there for 1 year once you're there. There are many powerful people there. Some of them are already at the top of the Huangqi layer. Wait until you're a high-level Hell Emperor, and then you can go. If you don't want to wait that long, you still need to stabilize your cultivation. After all, you'll have the opportunity every year. Danger is part of a cultivator's life. When facing danger, you can surpass others. I have already made my decision. I am going to participate in the challenge of the celestial country, swore Lin Feng insistently. He didn't have much time. He needed to become stronger and then he needed to find the exit to go back to the continent of the 9 clouds. If he participated in the challenge of the celestial country this year, he'd become much stronger. Minister Uptala remained silent for a few seconds and finally nodded. Since you have already made your decision, I won't prevent you from going. But you have to remember, stay safe, there aren't only strong cultivators from hell there. Lin Feng was astonished and stared at Minister Uptala. Minister, are you saying that people from other worlds participate in the challenge of the celestial country? Indeed. You need to know about that. You'll understand when you go there, Minister Uptala said mysteriously. However, Lin Feng was astonished. His heart was pounding violently. People from other worlds participated in the challenge of the celestial country? Maybe he would find a solution to go back to the 9 clouds continent from there. For Lin Feng, that was an extremely important piece of information. After all, he wouldn't be able to meet any of the 10 Yama Court's kings within a short period of time. So for the time being, finding another way to go back was the best thing to do. Lin Feng, since you decided to participate in the challenge of the celestial country, stay here and practice cultivation really hard these days. When the right time comes, Shichuan will come and take you there, said Minister Uptala. Lin Feng nodded and replied, all right, thank you, Minister. After that, Lin Feng practiced cultivation calmly. He also had a few walks in the different Uptala territories. He went to the library and read books. Lin Feng didn't study them really hard, but he memorized some things. Reading books was always beneficial, anyway. Lin Feng came out of the library and sensed that someone was looking at him. Someone's eyes were glittering, but that person continued walking. Lin Feng didn't say anything, as if nothing had happened. It wasn't the first time someone had looked at him. Lin Feng knew that someone was spying on him, he just didn't know who it was exactly. However, he knew that since Wang Zhuo was dead, Wang Zhen didn't like him, and he had said that Wang Zhuo's father, Wang Xiao, wouldn't accept his son's death. But Wang Xiao and Wang Zhen couldn't do anything against Lin Feng in Uptala. After all, he had been invited by Minister Uptala to come there, and he had also relied on his own self to obtain privileges. If something happened to him in the city, then it could have serious consequences. They couldn't do anything against Lin Feng in the city. Some time passed. Lin Feng went to an ice mountain in the Uptala world. He looked around as life and death lights glittered while he controlled the air around him. It was an incredible display. At that moment, a silhouette came up next to Lin Feng and looked at Lin Feng strangely. This young man controls life and death strength. No wonder that the minister thinks highly of him. He's very talented. Lin Feng opened his eyes and smiled. Master Sichuan, is the challenge of the celestial country going to start? Indeed. Let's go, nodded Sichuan. Lin Feng stood up and rose up into the air, following Sichuan. After a short time, they landed on another mountain range. There were many other strong cultivators present, and they all looked extraordinary. The challenge of the celestial country was extremely difficult. As Minister Uptala had said, heroes participated in the challenge of the celestial country. Ordinary people couldn't go there, they'd die within a few seconds if they did. Even some people from rich and powerful clans didn't dare go there. Minister Uptala looked over the crowd and asked, "Is everyone ready?" "Minister, don't worry. We are a big team. In case of danger, we'll help one another," spoke up someone. Minister Uptala smiled and said, "Please be careful. Don't be obsessed with success. You are all heroic army members. I hope you'll come back safe and sound. Even if you don't progress a lot, it doesn't matter. Just come back." "We understand," replied everybody, bowing before Minister Uptala. Minister Uptala looked at Lin Feng and said, "Lin Feng, you are very weak. You have to be extremely careful. During the challenge of the celestial country, there will be many extremely strong cultivators. Some of them are abnormally powerful." Lin Feng nodded. "Minister, I know about that. Since it's that way, I'm not saying anything else. I'll wait for you to come back like heroes," said Minister Uptala. Everybody looked solemn and respectful. They would very possibly die during the challenge of the celestial country. "Let's go," said Sichuan, waving his hand. Everybody followed him to another location. Very quickly, they arrived in Minister Uptala's headquarters and left. Lin Feng realized that people from everywhere in the city seemed agitated. There was no restriction to participate to the challenge of the celestial country. All emperors could participate. Members of all the armies could as well. All the ministers sent people to the challenge of the celestial country. The entrance to the celestial country was in Challenge Mountain. It was where the 10 cities of hell had a common border. Sichuan led the way. It took them a month of travel to get there. Lin Feng was amazed at the size of Great Imperial Song City's territory again. Sichuan was a great emperor and could travel really fast, but it still took them a month. Outside of Challenge Mountain, there was a seemingly endless number of strong cultivators from all 10 cities of hell. Some of them were soldiers, some of them were individuals, some of them belonged to powerful groups in hell, but in any case, they were all emperors. There were many medium-level hell emperors and high-level hell emperors. There were only a few low-level hell emperors. These people seemed so strong, thought Lin Feng, gazing over everyone. These people were terrifying, and all of them were emperors. It was hard to imagine. After arriving in the celestial country, many strong cultivators will be waiting for you there. Those people don't want to leave the celestial country. They are all terrifyingly strong. They want to stay there to continue becoming stronger, Sichuan said to Lin Feng. Lin Feng nodded his understanding. Chapter 1878. Long and difficult battle. At that moment, the swordsman was still surrounded by death chi. He had still suffered a little from the skinny old man's death chi vortex. The swordsman's body was being corroded by death chi. Even though he looked unaffected, he was still trying to expel the death chi from his body with cosmic energies. "If you give me all your precious items willingly, I won't kill you," declared the swordsman, looking at Lin Feng calmly. He had ambushed the skinny old man for a simple reason. He could kill Lin Feng easily, but not the old man. Lin Feng shook his head. The swordsman's eyes glittered and he said, "You think I can't kill you? Your sword attacks are so fast, of course you can defeat me easily," said Lin Feng indifferently. He had no doubt that that guy could kill him easily. He had seen his sword attacks. His speed cosmic energies were terrifying. When speed abstruse energies turned into cosmic energies, they were fearsome. This guy's speed cosmic energies were terrifying. "Since you understand, that's good," said the swordsman calmly. "You shouldn't have come here. Even if I don't steal your treasures, other people will. You should find a place to hide." "Thank you very much for your help," said Lin Feng, throwing a ring at the swordsman before leaving quickly. The swordsman put his godly awareness inside the ring and turned furious. He transformed into a sword and chased after Lin Feng. Lin Feng couldn't escape. The swordsman was too fast and he was much faster than the skinny old man. Lin Feng opened his third eye. Destructive strength descended from the sky. Suddenly, Lin Feng turned around and opened his bestial consciousness, releasing black water and desolate qi. Lin Feng then disappeared into that black lake. His enemy released sword energies, which streaked across the sky. He opened the black lake and continued charging towards Lin Feng. Lacerate. Dazzling sword lights turned into two light beams, and Lin Feng's body was suddenly cut in two. Both sides fell down from the sky. The swordsman watched Lin Feng icily. That was a strange qi. Earth. Earth's strength descended from the sky and crashed down onto him. Lin Feng reappeared. The swordsman was startled. The Lin Feng he had cut apart was a clone. A fake? Lin Feng suddenly took out a destructive black lotus. The swordsman reacted instantly. Another sword appeared and streaked across the sky. Destructive strength filled and made the lotus explode. Fireballs blew in all directions. A powerful strength moved towards the swordsman and crashed onto his transformed sword arm, and it started burning. The fire was very corrosive, and the swordsman's expression changed drastically. Finally, he couldn't remain calm anymore. Suddenly, he cut his right arm off with his left arm. "Die," said the swordsman. Sword energies whistled out and raced towards Lin Feng. Lin Feng could die at any time. Lin Feng was prepared. He had already released Devamara Kalpa strength. When it collided with the sword's strength, the sky exploded. Lin Feng moved back and watched the swordsman icily. He was a high-level Hell Emperor and was extremely strong. He could carry out explosive attacks with the power of his mind. A moment before, Lin Feng had hidden in the small world of his spirit and had released a clone outside. That was how he had tricked the swordsman. Without using the power of his spirit, Lin Feng wouldn't be able to defeat that man. But Lin Feng couldn't use the power of his spirit in such conditions. It was too dangerous. He was surrounded by danger. He couldn't be sure that nobody was watching them here. Therefore Lin Feng flew away. Lin Feng had destroyed one of his arms. Even though the man could recover, it was still humiliating. "Die." The swordsman turned into a sword again and continued chasing after Lin Feng. Dazzling sword lights filled the air. Lin Feng was surrounded by sword energies. Lin Feng shivered. This guy was terrifying, and the sword lights were extremely sharp. Lin Feng suddenly stopped and rose up into the air. Life and death energies started twinkling. Lin Feng also released Devamara Kalpa strength. "Destroy!" shouted Lin Feng furiously. He didn't only use his 9 Kalpa swords, millions of swords were whistling. Lin Feng suddenly turned around, his eyes became extremely sharp. When the swordsman saw that Lin Feng had stopped, he opened his third eye and dazzling lights emerged from it. He wanted to destroy Lin Feng's sword attacks, but it wasn't that easy. He couldn't afford to underestimate Lin Feng anyway. If Lin Feng had been at the same cultivation level as him, he would have killed the swordsman easily with such an attack. When Lin Feng stopped, he released endless amounts of death and life energies. The swordsman was shocked to see this, and stopped cold to stare at Lin Feng. A will-destroying sword attack and demon Kalpa's strength descended from the sky. This was the strength of a medium-level Hell Emperor, and 2 life and death deployment spells appeared as well. Medium-level Hell Emperor. The swordsman was startled. He had to kill Lin Feng now. Life and death deployment spell. Even without going inside, I can still kill you, swore the swordsman. He raised his left arm, he condensing sword intent. It seemed that this intent didn't even contain cosmic strength, like it was a pure sword. However, that was one of his powers. When he made cosmic energies fuse together with his sword attack, his opponents couldn't sense them. Die! Shouted the man furiously, and then endless amounts of sword energies shot towards Lin Feng. Lin Feng was in the middle of his life and death deployment spell, and there were sword energies everywhere. At the same time, Lin Feng moved and the atmosphere trembled. If you could kill me with your sword energies, why would I make a deployment spell? Lin Feng asked icily. Lin Feng continued walking to the edge of the mountain. He glanced around and saw someone in white clothes standing on a stone. Their robe was fluttering in the wind like their black hair. The man sensed someone and turned around, noticed Lin Feng, and smiled. Your Excellency, I'm from Jalakandra Fairyland. I noticed that your deployment spells were amazing. I've been waiting here for a long time. Would you like to come to Jalakandra Fairyland? That person had come by a few times. Lin Feng's clone had seen him several times. Lin Feng didn't need to offend him. Jalakandra Fairyland, where is that? Asked Lin Feng. Jalakandra Fairyland is a group in the celestial country. From generation to generation, old people leave and new people join. New people constantly receive the Jalakandra Fairyland's intent, said the person in white clothes with a smile. Lin Feng smiled back and asked, what is Jalakandra Fairyland's purpose? Progressing together, replied the person simply. The celestial country is a dangerous place. People come here to hunt treasures, but there are many strong cultivators. Many people end up creating groups. It's unavoidable. Some other people who are incredibly strong can also fight on their own and kill anyone. But many people still end up in groups. Jalakandra Fairyland is about intent and there can't be internal fights. Those who violate the rules are killed by everyone else. Temporary group. Lin Feng was intrigued. My cultivation level is low, why choose me? Jalakandra Fairyland's vision is on the long term. We don't care about people's cultivation level, we care about talent. Many people who join Jalakandra Fairyland decide to stay in the celestial country. Those who are weak at the beginning always become strong. You're really talented and you stand out. Your deployment spells are terrifying, said the person in white clothes amiably. I've come here several times, waiting for you to wake up. I mean you no harm. If you refuse, then I'll just leave. I don't want to disturb you. I hope you'll accept though. I'll come with you, smiled Lin Feng. If the Jalakandra Fairyland had truly existed in the celestial country for many years, they had to be strong, and those people had to understand the country quite well. It was worth trying. In the dragon clan, there were 3 sorts of dragons. Golden dragons with 5 claws, blood dragons like him who were bloodthirsty, and demon dragons. Those 3 dragon types all had an explosive strength and were extremely powerful. So you intend to keep him in your body forever? Asked Daoshu. Lin Feng smiled and said, if you want to take him back to the dragon clan, I don't mind. You don't mind letting him go? He asked Daoshu, startled to hear that. Demon dragons were extremely powerful. That dragon had grown inside Lin Feng's blood. Lin Feng was almost like his mother. He could even help Lin Feng fight. He could get a great education in the dragon clan, that would be good for him. Lin Feng smiled. Daoshu remained silent for a few seconds, and then said, nah, my clan is for blood dragons, it wouldn't be good for a demon dragon. If I took him back, the members of my clan might attack him. Of course, the 5-clawed golden dragons would accept him. I see, then forget about it. The demon dragon didn't go back into Lin Feng's body. He turned into a human being with black eyes and an icy stare. His skin looked like a pitch-black armor. The members of Jalakandra Fairyland were startled to learn Lin Feng had a dragon inside his body. They also noticed Daoshu didn't look as angry as before. That's why the battles happen within a radius of 10 kilometers of it. Look at the crowd. They are all heroes. These people are stronger than most people in your world, said Aoshu. Lin Feng and the others glanced around. Indeed, many silhouettes were moving around and their qi was incredible. Qi was pulsing ahead of them, and many energies whistled around them. However, the Milky Way didn't move at all, it was just a mysterious qi. Lin Feng gazed into the distance and saw many broken bridges, with people fighting on them. Finally, Lin Feng and the others arrived on a bridge and could clearly see everything. The area was gigantic. Under the bridges, there was water and the boundless yellow springs of the underworld. Some people sometimes fell down into the yellow waters, already dead. Above, the heroic warriors searched the green void, below the yellow springs. The Milky Way is the green void, the yellow springs are the underworld. Fighting here is extremely dangerous. Bai Ling told them after glancing around. There were many bridges on which strong cultivators were fighting on. Some people are extremely strong, said one of the members of Jalakandra Fairyland. Aoshu said, even though they're strong, how many people can reach the Milky Way and get to the other side? What's on the other side? These people understood the celestial country quite well, but few people knew what it meant to go on the other side. Don't you know? On the other side, it's not hell and it's not the celestial country. It's another battlefield. If you can go to the other side, it means that you've become incredibly strong. Besides, if you manage to cross the Milky Way, while crossing, you will be cleansed by the Hell World imprints. You will become much stronger. Another world? Bai Ling frowned. He had heard that there were people from other worlds in the celestial country. Surprisingly, there were also people who could reach the other side of the Milky Way. Lin Feng shivered. Another world? Was it the continent of the 9 clouds? Aoshu, where do you come from? Bai Ling asked Aoshu. Aoshu smiled. The Dragon Clan has ways to come to the celestial country, of course. Where do those bridges lead? Lin Feng pressed. How many worlds are connected to this place? There are billions of worlds, but there's only one real world. The Hell World is independent. Opposite the Milky Way, there's the continent of the 9 clouds. Aoshu smiled. Lin Feng was delighted, sharp lights glittered. As expected, the continent of the 9 clouds. Was the continent of the 9 clouds the main world, then? Some people from Jalakandra Fairyland are there too, Bai Ling pointed at a group of people. Those strong cultivators were on bridges and wearing white clothes. Their group was bigger than Lin Feng's, a total of 34 people. That's a descendant of King Qingguang, leader Qinyu. He's extremely strong. No wonder he took people to the Milky Way battlefield. Chapter 1885. Pathfinder Peak. Who are you? Why were you in the mountain? Why did you come down from the Milky Way? Asked the leader of the Black Shark Army. People who touched the Yellow Springs or the Milky Way could die, now that young man had descended from the sky. People were obviously astonished. People fought over that mountain and in the end, there was someone inside. Amusing, thought the people staring at the young man with a king body. He had to be the descendant of an ancient king, a noteworthy person. The young man glanced at the strong cultivators of the Black Shark Army indifferently. He didn't say anything. He glanced around as if he didn't know where he was. I asked you something, said the leader of the Black Shark Army when he saw that the young man didn't reply to him. He looked furious. The young man turned to him, and suddenly, demon chi emerged from his eyes, and thunder echoed out. The eyes of the cultivator from the Black Shark Army suddenly felt extremely sore. His will was being attacked. Immortal King and Demon Strength. The strong cultivator of the Black Shark Army blurted out as he shook violently. Then, the young man jumped and a trail of immortal chi appeared behind him and turned into a vortex. That person has killed countless people. His king body is incredible. He's a dangerous person. Aoshu declared cautiously. Even though he was from the Dragon Clan, he also found people who had king bodies incredible. They were always extremely strong. Let's go. That guy is here to kill. He will kill all of us to practice, said Aoshu. That young man had already started killing cultivators from the Black Shark Army. Demon lights kept emerging from his eyes and killing people. He was a real murderer. The members of Jalakandra Fairyland started dispersing. After a short time, the young man slaughtered the strong cultivator of the Black Shark Army. He didn't stop releasing immortal and demon energies at all. His silhouette flickered and he continued butchering the people from the Black Shark Army. Die! Many people from the Black Shark Army and Jalakandra Fairyland were injured. However, there were still many people who released energies and attacked the young man. However, at that moment, the young man looked like a death god. He proudly stood in the sky and absorbed the death chi his opponents released. The young man flashed ahead, and the strong cultivators were shaking. He was too terrifying. The young man pointed a finger at a strong cultivator. Chi emerged and pierced through his head. His corpse fell down from the sky, a one-shot kill. Corpses kept falling down from the sky and into the yellow springs. The crowd looking on was astonished. The strong cultivators from the Black Shark Army died one after another. What a tragedy for all those valiant fighters. They were insignificant in front of that young man, and he was slaughtering them. Aoshu smiled back and said, "Indeed. In normal conditions, I would have tried to fight against him. However, when I saw how he killed people, I gave up. I felt like trash." "I see," Lin Feng nodded. "Someday you'll achieve enlightenment, and you'll fight against him." "Indeed. People from the Dragon Clan are incredibly talented. I'll definitely try to fight against him someday," said Aoshu, smiling happily as he thought about that day. He gazed into the distance, where there was a bridge above Yellow Springs. There was a peak sitting there, and many people were floating around it. They looked hesitant and maintained a distance between themselves and the peak. "Within the Milky Way battlefield and the Yellow Springs, there is an ancient peak there," said the startled Lin Feng. "The peak was even moving. How strange." Aoshu was surprised and stared at the peak with him. "Apart from treasures, there's also such a place in the Milky Way battlefield? It looks dangerous. It might be worth it though. Let's go and see." Their band sped up, chasing the moving hill. The peak was so strange, looking like a mirage. There were some big words on it, but they looked indistinct and blurry. "Pathfinder Peak," read Lin Feng. He was astonished. The expressions of Aoshu and the others changed drastically. "I've heard about the Pathfinder Peak, but I've never seen it," the dragon admitted. "What is that place?" asked Lin Feng. Qin said, "According to legends, the Pathfinder Peak is a place where you can find celestial Pathfinder plates. They are very helpful for cultivators." "I see. Why are those people hesitating and not moving closer?" asked Lin Feng. "Many people have never come back from the Pathfinder Peak. It's like you go in and can't come back," explained Qin calmly. Lin Feng was astonished. "What a mysterious place." You're tuning in to the Passion Pages YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.